Yes,
So,
sir.
Antique Shipyard coming on up.
Cross spawn only, man. Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, Blizzard.
I think it was you who linked that duck picture where he's like, yes, like YISSS, and that's how I always say it. It's like, oh, yes.
I don't remember that.
It was with that stupid video that duck song who's like a troll. Or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Wanna be a great bird? Whatever. Get into this game, guys. This is game 2 in the Amazon versus Ernst and Young series here for the After Hours Gaming League. I am again Rifkin, aka Riff_Kings. I'm here with Penguin from Team My Insanity, and good guy Amazon pointing out that it is in fact cross spawns only.
So are you just not going to try to say his
I'm
name?
not even going to try and say his name, which is why I'm going to get right into introducing the red player Cipro, playing for Ernst and Young, also known as A.
Well, we have AMZN for the amazing Metzelmots spawning in the left spawn location as our Blue Zerg playing for Team Amazon. And I actually have a couple fun facts about Mr. Metzelmots here. Metzelmots is the best Zerg player on Amazon, so it seems like they are throwing out their strongest of their races at the beginning. They want to get as good a start as they possibly can here. And, well, Metzelmots is apparently nicknamed the Iron Zerg because he prefers to destroy his opponents through sheer macro and production. Last week, he had a painful loss against a Facebook employee who used to be an Amazonian Zerg, so he's trying to make up for that, make up for last week's shame, if you will.
Well, let's see how it does. I like a lot of the Zerg players we've seen so far in the After Hours Gaming League. They've stuck to their guns, and yeah, a lot of it's been more typical Wings of Liberty strategies, but they've been executing it well.
The thing about this map, I'm really hoping we see this time around, but this map is a pretty good map for swarm hosts in this matchup. As long as you get the Enduring Locusts upgrade, if you plant them in this little, since there's really only one sort of pathway out of your main and your third, your natural and your third rather, if you plant the swarm hosts around this general area here, then you can actually just send the swarm hosts in, just do a lot of damage. Free units, trading free units for anything is always a nice little win, and of course you can try to do some damage to the third, maybe the natural, try to hit down the wall, especially since we see Cipro going for that at the ramp. And you know,
Cipro with the harass here. Double pylons, Penguin. What an irritation.
He did cancel one of them, and Metzelmot sees that, so he grabs that expansion at the natural, so a little bit unlucky timing on the cancel by Cipro, but he's still being a pest.
Well, we saw Andy unfortunately get destroyed in game 1 in this series. I'm hoping Cipro can avenge his Protoss brother, bring him back as a Dragoon, if you will.
Alright then, well, we'll see exactly what can happen. This is such an interesting map for this matchup. 2 base all-ins are very, very strong on this map, specifically Blink all-ins, stuff like that.
Blink has not changed. From Wings of Liberty to Heart of the Swarm, Blink is still a powerful mechanic.
Yeah, it takes longer to upgrade now, but it's still just as awesome as it is in Wings, and, well, I mean, I'd be interested to see whether or not Cipro goes for that, because when you're seeing PvZ, it's always a very interesting sort of decision as whether the Protoss player opts to go for a very, very strong 2-base timing, or whether the Protoss player opts to play a little more risky macro style, a little bit more vulnerably, but then going towards the Sky Toss mega death ball in the late game.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see some air units come out of Cipro for this game. Even if it's just something simple like Phoenixes or even Oracles to harass. It's like Protoss air is so well utilized, especially in Heart of the Swarm. I'm a little shocked Andy didn't go for any of it, to be honest.
Yeah, he did opt for the Colossus decision. I actually think that may have been a reaction to seeing his opponent go bio, which is also not as common at the moment because everybody just really likes going Hellbats and winning.
Yeah.
But
Backer units have definitely been making a bit of a comeback in Heart of the Swarm.
Now, we did see a pretty late third go up for our Zerg player. I'll be very interested to see whether that actually affects his build at all, but he seems to be playing very standard at the moment. No gas just yet. A little bit of oversaturation in the main, just enough to be able to grab those gases and then saturate those on up. Oh,
yeah, well, if there's
a little bit of a Maynard.
If there's one thing that has not changed between Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm, it is the fact that in the PvZ matchup, you're going to have 3 base Zerg versus Forge Fast Expand Protoss.
Yeah, we have seen a couple of people fooling around with Gateway First opening. It came out because it allows you to get that faster Mothership Core out, but slowly but surely, people have realized that you don't really need the Mothership Core out super early.
Yeah, well, the Mothership Core, it's a nice unit, but it's not a necessary unit, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you the really nice early defense. If you feel like your opponent's all-inning you, it also gives a nice sort of, in say, a tournament situation, a best-of-one situation in a tournament, if a Protoss player is playing against somebody who is worse than them, they can opt to go for the Mothership Core faster, play a little safer, because if they feel like their opponent might cheese them. But as you said, it's not really super necessary for going into if you're going into a macro-style mid-game / late-game scenario.
Yeah, what's it called? Oh, Photon Overcharge or something? Like turning your Nexus into a big cannon, basically, is a really nice thing.
Planetary Nexus.
Yeah, pretty much. It's really nice being able to do that. But I thought Cipro was going to go across the map with some poke here, but Opt needs to just come back home, I guess. I mean, a Stalker Zealot poke is a very effective tool you can utilize because often at the 7.5 minute mark, Zerg's not going to have speed on those Zerglings. You can kite them around for quite a little while and get in there. Sometimes, if you're lucky, even pick off a queen.
Speaking of speed, Rifkin, we haven't seen Metzelmot start his speed yet at all. He's just playing. There we go, speed and lair starting.
Yeah, I mean, the 8 to 9 minute mark's a little late, but it's not terribly late.
No, not at all. It should be done in time to deal with any sort of two-base play from Cipro, if that's what he opts to go for. But, yeah, just taking a look around at Cipro's base, we have a lot of gateways on the way. We have 3 gateways as well as a robo. It'll bring him up to 4 gateways, and with that robo, he can opt for, I don't know, maybe War Prison Pressure. +1 Zealots are also a very nice harassment tool.
Yeah, Zealots, once you get Zealots that charge, man, it doesn't matter what the Zerg player has. If it's on the ground, it's in some trouble.
And we have the Roach Warren on the way, as well as an Immortal on the way by Cipro. So the Roach Warren for Metzelmot's not going to match up all that well against this Robotech. We'll have to see how he decides to play this, but of course Cipro is still on 2 base, so we have a nice economy going. Metzelmot's has just been powering drones, he's up to 63.
Yeah, if Cipro's going for the Immortal Sentry all-in, I'm really curious to see whether Metzelmot's is going to be having, the good sight to first scout it so that he can get Spine Crawlers up in time to hold it off. Because right now his Overlord spread is nice, it lets him see the economy and the gases, but that's about it. He doesn't really have vision of any of the actual structures, he doesn't know what the army composition is. And he could be in a lot of trouble, Penguin.
This is so cool. We have a double Hydra Den coming down by Metzelmot's. He started these Hydra Dens far too close at the same time for me to actually think this was a mistake. I think he is probably going to be going for both of the upgrades at the same time here. Where's that second Hydra Den? Jeez.
It's underneath the Overlord formation in the front lines.
I see. So yeah, we have Grooved Spines on the way. I would not be surprised to see him going for... there we go, moving the Overlords just for me. Thank you, Metzelmot's. Are we going to have the Muscular Augments coming out?
One thing, while we're waiting to see if that happens, I do want to point out, Metzelmot's actually put down a lot of sport, not a lot, but some Spore Crawlers at each of his base, anticipating either Oracles or maybe Phoenixes, whatever it was, but it's a good sense to have those down. Sure, you don't know exactly what your opponent's doing, but it better be safe than sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a War Prism on the way out as well, so if he goes for Warpins behind the mineral line, these Spores are going to help quite a bit.
Penguin, we've got him going for that middle base, that gold expansion, which if he can secure will be really nice, but the problem is we see Cipro starting to move out with those Immortals and the Sentries. And okay, yeah, the best thing you can try to really do is bait out a lot of energy early on so you don't have to deal with it back at home, but this is a lot, and I don't know that Metzelmot's has enough units. He's got Hydralisks on the way, but this engage in the middle of the map will not go favorably.
I'm not going to lie, Rifkin, I'm really worried for Cipro at this point in time here because this is a very late Immortal Sentry all-in. You really want to be hitting around 9:30, 10 minutes at the latest. So, I mean, the thing is, he's going to have Hydralisks out, which do really well against everything in this army.
Yeah, I mean, you can get some Guardian Shields up, do what you can, but unless you get those perfect force fields to segment and augment the armies in half, you're going to have a hard time dealing with this many Hydralisks straight on.
How many Hydralisks is he up to? He has 11 in production and 12 already out. He's just going mass Hydralisks after he's seen this, and this is a really nice decision.
Oh gosh, this feels like Brood Wars.
Behind this. Here we go. Force fields are good.
Yeah, you want to keep the Hydras at max range. The last thing you want to do is let your opponent move up close to you so that they're all firing at you.
He started this very favorably. He's taking a third behind this as well. I like this. If Cipro can deny the gold, he'll be in an okay position, but the Hydras are getting an... actually, force fields are looking really good again.
Yeah, he's trapping a couple Roaches. The Hydras right in the middle next to the Watchtower. Squishing them out of
This is actually a huge army, Rifkin.
Yeah, the Stalkers, they're not that effective against the Hydras alone, but they've got so much with them that this is looking really nice.
there's not really anything to buffer for these Hydralisks. He's got a few Roaches, now he's pumping a few more, but right now we're seeing almost pure Hydralisks, which doesn't really match up that well because, I mean, there's nothing to tank the damage.
A lot of the Sentry energy has been used already. He's not getting the best force fields right now. He needs to segment this army Penguin so badly.
This is a really nice concave from the Hydras, but the force fields do push the rest of them back, and his army pushing forward. This is still a pretty strong push forward from Cipro. Metzelmotz trying to hold the gold, and I feel like he should just pull back and try to hold his third.
Yeah, the gold base is really a risky base to have in the first place, and he's going to lose so much trying to hold it. Hydralisks are very expensive units, guys. Throwing them away like this, you can't really afford to do that. Zerglings are your throwaway units, Roaches are your throwaway units, but...
We have him down to only one Immortal, though, so if he takes out that last Immortal, Roaches, which is pretty much all he's pumping right now, are going to be a lot more effective, but he isn't focusing that Immortal. It's losing a little bit of health now, but it's still, there we go, finally goes down. These Roaches are pumping on forward.
Yeah, the Stalkers alone won't be enough. They need some more support units, whether it's a Sentry, whether it's Zealots. These Stalkers alone will not be able to fight this.
I'm actually really surprised that Metzelmotz has been able to fend this off. Cipro looked in a really good position, but I mean, there's really, this is a really close little engagement here, but with 4 hatcheries of production, I don't know if Cipro can break this.
Well, Cipro's been trading for this very, very favorably. Let's keep in mind, he's had a lot less supply for every part of this engage, but he's still maintaining to be the aggressor.
Yeah, at
this point, no tech, though. Like, there's no blink, there's no charge. I'm really worried about that.
Yeah. Metzelmotz may have a lot of supply inflation Roaches, but he's still double the supply of Cipro at this point. Cipro being forced back. He does have that third Nexus up, but there's nothing really mining from it yet. He really needs to try to get that going. He's only just now starting the Twilight Council, and Metzelmotz is in a really comfortable position to just push with these Roaches and make more drones behind it. Yeah,
and there's no sentries at home, so I mean, there's nothing to buff for this. He's warping in. Okay, now he's got 5 sentries.
But this third is forfeit, Rifkin.
That's okay. He wasn't even using the chrono on it anyways.
God, the new shield animation for the Nexus is so cool.
I know, it like deflects majorly big. And the whole thing too, I want to point out, behind that Metzelmotz, he held the middle base, guys. Now he's mining off of gold minerals, and gold minerals give so much extra income. It's glorious.
It is indeed, Rifkin, and I mean, with +2 on the way, how are we looking on upgrades for our Protoss player? He's 1-1, so we have a bit of an upgrade advantage for the Protoss at this point. Nope, never mind. It's 1-1 for the Zerg as well. I thought he was just going for 2-0. He is getting a Dark Shrine, Rifkin. You know what you do when you're behind?
You go late game Dark Templar.
Yes, we're actually going to be seeing late game Dark Templar utilized.
I know, I'm a little flabbergasted about that. It's like...
I'm not going to lie. I have no idea why Cipro's throwing down gateways 9 through 12.
Yeah, I think this is more of like, okay, I really got to get more reactionary stuff up, but he just doesn't have the economy to support this many gateways right now. Ooh, catching these sentries out of position at the bottom of the ramp. That's not fun for Cipro.
Yeah, Metzelmotz is looking very strong right now. He's getting that Infestation Pit, he's getting a Spire, he's just getting every sort of tech that he could ever want, killing off probes.
He's got to cancel that Nexus. There we go.
This is, oh man, we have a 5th base going up for Metzelmotz as well. This is looking even more grim for Cipro by the second. He's trying his best to get Dark Templar up. He has Overseers with this army though, Rifkin.
Yeah, and that was really Cipro's only chance to get back into this with those Dark Templar. Now, if he can send these out, like he's got these pylons outside of his base to the south. If he can somehow hold, I don't know how, but if he can somehow hold, then he can send those Dark Templar out and maybe go for some counter aggression. But yeah, the Roach is pushing up here.
Force fields are reasonably good, but I just don't think there's enough. The DTs are coming on forward. They do a lot of damage, but they will be taken out as soon as they get in vision of these Overseers. All of them go down.
I would like to see Cipro focus the Overseers, not the Roaches, so they can start using those Dark Templars. There are no other Overseers nearby, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
Probes being pulled, Rifkin.
Yeah, usually when you're playing workers, you're a bit desperate. GG.
Metzelmotz taking a win for Amazon 2-0. Ernst and Young really need to be sending out somebody strong to be able to bring this